So, a couple of weeks ago, a former student of mine, graduated maybe 2014, reached out to me through social media and said, "Hey, can I ask a favor?" What is it? Well, he was arrested and he was wondering if I could write a letter to the judge to try and get a reduced sentence. So, a little bit of background. This is a good kid. Okay, I taught him back in 2012 or something like that, and wasn't a criminal, good kid, rebellious in the typical ways, but nothing severe. And it turned out that his girlfriend broke up with him. He was feeling down, and he went into a liquor store, and he stole 2 cases of beer. Ran out, got caught. Police came. He had a knife on him because he works at a warehouse opening boxes and things like that. And he was arrested and looking at some serious time. So I talked to him on the phone. He shared the whole jail experience with me. And this is the conversation. So essentially, I don't know about jail. I don't know the process at all. I know what I see in documentaries and in movies. Okay. It sounds really gross to say, but I'm gonna say it, is people like me typically don't go to jail. And there's a lot of societal issues about why that is. Okay, maybe for DUI or something like that. But a lot of people who are in positions of privilege, and I don't always throw that term around, but in this case, that I'm gonna use it. People who come from a certain place of privilege are the ones who are going to be in charge of a lot of systems. And if we don't know how jail works and what it's like to go there, I think that's a problem. So he got a reduced sentence. He said partially is because of a letter that I sent to the judge, and that made me feel really good. I wouldn't write a letter like that for anybody, for any of the students that I've ever taught. Okay, there are kids that I taught who I would be nervous for them to be on the same street as like my children. This particular student of mine, former student of mine, is not one of those people. I would have no problem with him being around my kids. So I wrote a letter. Spent a lot of time on it. It was like 2 pages long. And it got him a reduced sentence. He was looking at 180 days. They said that you do about half that, which is 90 if you have good behavior. And then it got down to 5 days. So I went through the whole process of what that was like and picking his brain, because I don't know if you've ever talked to someone who spent time in the penal system. But I have rarely. I never was really just open about asking these questions before. So that's what it is, and I hope that this will educate those of you who are watching this on what the experience is. Sorry that the sound isn't great. I was basically recording a phone. But one of the things, and I think I didn't get this part, recording, he started talking, I was like, oh, let me record this. Is he said when he went to the holding cell that it was segregated by race. That he went in there, he's a Mexican kid, so he went in with like the other Mexicans in the jail cell. And there was like a black section, and there's an Asian section, there's a white section. And it was very interesting. And I said, well, what happens if like there's like rival black gangs and like rival like Hispanic gangs? Like what happens if you're in there? Do you like, are you cool with like that gang now? And he's like, well, not cool, but essentially you have each other's back. So it's interesting to me how you will throw aside your hate and distaste for like a rival gang to go back to like, we got each other's back because we have another group that we're trying to fight against. It's kind of like an enemy of my enemy is my friends. It's like how Roosevelt and Stalin came together to stop Hitler. It's interesting. And I also think it's very interesting how much race plays a role in the penal system. I think that's something that we really need to look at. If we're trying to squash racism and stuff in the country, there's like real deep racial segregation in the prison system. And that really struck me. And then I was like, can I record this? And he's like, sure. So I started recording, and then this is the conversation. So just getting back to what we were talking about. So the you went into like the holding tank after you surrendered yourself. What did they say was the how long you were going to have to serve?
They told me 180 days, but I was gonna do half of it, so 90 days.
Okay. Okay, so you were expecting to go in 90 days, and then you were in this holding room where everyone was kind of like segregated. So it was like the Mexican gangs, then the black gangs, and then like was it gangs that was in there, or just like it was just segregated by race? It was just races of people.
Just race. Like
Yeah.
There would be out there like that. They were just waiting.
So if you were like in rival, like let's say like rival black gangs, once you're in the jail cell, are you guys like together, basically against the other like races?
Um, yeah, like if two black guys were like in a rival gang, they have to like not
Team up.
talk to each other, but they have to have each other's back. If something like a riot popped off with another ethnicity.
Right. That's so, dude. That's so interesting. How like you like kind of throw aside certain differences and then
Yep.
latch on to other differences. Like when you throw away like the gang stuff and you latch on to like the racial stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's interesting. Okay, so from the holding tank, then what do they do?
Well, I was there for like till 5:30 or till 5 until court closed, and then the last people that stayed in the holding tank, they gathered us up. They put us in line, like two inmates next to each other, and then they walked us down to the bus. Like they put handcuffs and then handcuffs like with like 4 people connected, and they sat us down in the county bus.
Were you wearing like orange at this point?
What?
Were you wearing orange? Did they give you like a jumpsuit?
Oh, I was still wearing like the clothes I took to court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they what, put you in like a van?
They put us in like have you seen those big LA County jail buses?
Oh yeah, it's like a school bus basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but without windows and stuff.
Right. Were you scared at any of these? Were you like what was like going through your head, man? Like were you scared of like what's gonna happen? Were you like because you never been through this before? Were you kind of just like I'll be okay? Like were you trying to like maintain being tough? Were you like all right, if anyone like messes with me, then I got to be ready to go? Like what was going through your head, man?
I'm scared. I had like stories from like other friends that've been to jail.
Yeah.
So I was just prepared about what would happen. Like if someone spoke to me bad, then I would be like, hey, what's the problem? You know, not like taking action right away, but I could see what's going down, and if it had happened, then it had to happen. Like I wasn't really scared. I was prepared.
You're prepared, and then like so basically stories about like people just looking for trouble, and there. I mean, is it like you gotta understand like Rich is like a white guy, like I'm, and like from where I'm from, like I'm just thinking like I know from like movies, so I'm thinking is it like one of those things where like guys are looking for like weaknesses or people that they can just like get something from? Is it something like that? So you don't want to come across like looking weak? Is it something like that?
No. In the beginning, everyone was like friends. Like everyone spoke to each other. They weren't like really starting trouble.
Yeah. Because if you start trouble, you're gonna get in more trouble, right? I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Like everyone just wants to get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So then you get the bus. The bus takes you to county.
Yeah, like it's right around the corner.
Okay.
And then they take us out in like the single file line, and then they put us in these rooms. They made us empty like our shoes, our socks, and then we separated in 2 different rooms because it was like a snake, I guess, like a single file line.
Yeah.
Snake style.
Are you guys allowed to talk? You guys talking?
Yeah, like I was with Paul at that time. So.
Yeah. So you guys just like talking, just like shooting the shit. Like were the guards like what were the guards like? Were they all just like assholes, or were they cool? Were they like?
So they were cool. They were just doing their job, like just trying to get us on with the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one really started trouble, especially in the holding tanks. Like some guys were like getting like aggressive with each other.
Yeah. Some guys like was it like a racial thing, like some like Mexican dudes with black guys or something?
These black dudes were they were like trying to punk on some white guy because he was pacing back and forth, and I guess they didn't like that, so
yeah.
They just told him something.
What were the white guys like who were in the cell?
There was like a few, but they were like someone like already like you could tell they were like in guards or something like that.
Yeah. So were they like? I mean, were they like all tatted up? They looked like they were like.
A few. There was like a Navy veteran.
Okay.
Yeah. It looked like he had been to jail before. So.
Right. Okay, and then you get there. They give you all this stuff. Then they get you in a cell. Do you have like a cellmate?
No. It's still a process. They put us in these rooms with benches, and we go to these phones, and the lady they ask questions like, are we veteran? Like, are we homosexual, or like do you have problems like mentally?
Okay.
And then from there, they put us like in this room, and they gave us these bags, and then we have to strip down, and we put all our clothes in like in the bag. We tie it up, and then that's like our property, you know.
Yeah.
So when we're released, they give it to it. They give it to us.
Okay. And then what? Where? And then they just kind of walk you to where after that?
They make us walk down the hallway like naked, and then there's these showers, and then I guess it's shower time. We all shower.
Yeah.
They gave us our blue jumpsuit, not a jumpsuit, but like they're like scrubs.
Right. How did you feel when you guys were all like, marching and Nate? Was it like did you feel like dehumanized a little bit? Did you feel like this isn't, the way that you?
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like this is not somewhere someone's supposed to be, like.
Right. Yeah. Like, cause I mean, recently I was in Poland, and I was going to all these like Auschwitz and like the Nazi camps, and a part of that is like getting everyone naked and like march them into like gas chambers and stuff. And it's like something about the visual of like being like marched around without clothes on takes away like your humanity, because that's like what makes us like separate from animals. You know what I mean? So I wonder if that just like messes with your head a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, it's not somewhere where it's not right,
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Okay, and then they give you the scrubs, and then what's after that?
They just kept us there for like 45 minutes. Like, I don't know, it took forever. And like they opened the doors to the showers, and at that time I was talking to like the inmates, what they were in for, and how much time they were gonna serve.
You were asking them?
And yeah, like we were just talking, just like catching up with each other, like who's he, or where did you grow up at, and all that stuff.
Okay.
And then they opened the doors, and they asked us like they was trying to get our shoes, and then they gave our size number of our shoe, and then we go to the front. They give us like they're not like slip-ons, but they're like sort of like Croc style shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave us those, and then they make us walk down a hallway. They have like a trustee, which is like an inmate, but he helps out the sheriff. They gave us food, and they made us walk down another hallway into like a room. They filled up that room, and then after that we ate, and a couple minutes later they took us to like a medical room where like it's like a processing office where like we take our X-ray, and then like they weigh us, they take our blood pressure, and we're going in like these benches again, like snake style.
Yeah.
They talk to like a nurse, and then they ask us like, do you need to see a doctor? And do you hear voices in your, like, basically asking if we're okay in the head, or like.
Right. How was the food?
Oh, the food. The first foods they gave us, it was like peanut butter sandwiches. Like the peanut butter was so dry, and like they gave us like juices, and that's it. Like and then later on, they gave us like bologna sandwiches. Like, it was like a mayonnaise pack, bologna, and then like 2 slices of bread with like Tex-Mex style.
So basically, like just the most basic food you can get.
Yeah.
Nothing hot.
Pretty basic.
You never got any hot food?
Not until like before the X-ray, they gave us like 2 burritos, like school burritos.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the food wasn't that bad, but it was like, of course, there's better things to eat than that.
Of course. Okay, so once you're in there, then like, what's like the daily? So you only ended up serving how long? 5 days.
5 days.
How come? How come they changed it from 90 to 5? That's huge.
Because that's pretty perfect. Because on Wednesday, like I got pulled out in the morning, and then they told me like, oh, you want to speak to probation? I'm like, all right, go for it. And then I went to like this office, and they said, you want to apply for a house arrest program? And I'm like, yeah, sure, that'll be fine. And then she took down my info, where I live at and where I work at, and then like, I will notify you in a couple of days to get approved.
Okay.
And then Friday morning, that's when they like, are you released on the house arrest? I'm like, oh wow, sweet.
Hold on 1 second. Let me. Okay, cool. So I missed a little bit of that. My kid came in. So what you said? What was the reason again for why you only did 5 days?
Oh, because they on Wednesday, on my 3rd day, they asked me if I wanted to apply for a house arrest.
Oh.
And I'm like, sure, why not?
Yeah, of course.
They took down my info, and then they said they'll notify me in a couple of days. And I was expecting like a week or 2 weeks to be notified, but it was in 2 days.
Why? Did you ask why, or you were just like, all right, cool, I'm out?
No, they just said because they knew I was working, so they were, I guess they gave me a chance.
Well, I mean, that's something I said in the letter that I wrote for you for court is like you're out there working, contributing. Like this is, you know, like you had a bad run of things. You know, you're going through a tough time, which everyone does. You made a stupid decision. You didn't hurt anybody. Like you have a job. Like what's going on? Like what are we doing here? You know.
Yeah.
That's great. So if you have a job, if you have like kind of proof that you're contributing, then they're gonna go easy on you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
those letters did help out. Like, thank you.
Oh, good man. All right. Well, that was the goal. So then you got released, and now you're on house arrest. And do you think one of the things I wrote in the letter, and I'm curious what you think now that you were there? Do you think that like you're not like a criminal? Like you're just a guy. Like you know, like you make bad decisions, good decisions, like everyone does. But like, do you think that if you were in there long enough that you could have been like the people in there? There's a lot of bad dudes in there, right? I mean, like not to talk smack on them. Like they've all been through hardship and stuff like that. But like, I mean, there are people in there that are like legitimate criminals. I mean, is there? Could you? One of the things that I wrote is like you could put someone into jail who's not a criminal, and they will become a criminal because they're in jail. Is that accurate, or do you think that you? Yeah.
In some cases, it does happen, but for me personally, I just wanted to do my time and get out of there. Like I even told myself like every day, I'm not coming back. I am not coming back. You know, like so I was pretty sane.
Yeah.
As of like not turning into a criminal, like deep shit.
Right. I mean, you got a moral compass on you though. Like some people don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have like, you know, your dad who's like helping you out, and like you have like people around you that care about you. Like some people don't have that stuff, and then like they don't have that moral compass where they're not sure what to do, and then they come out. Is this going to be on a record for for like future jobs?
Yeah, it is like because I am like considered a felon.
Yeah.
Like, once they hammer through the judge, like once the judge threw the hammer, that's it. Like I'm a felon.
So you can't vote.
Not until I clear my probation.
Okay, but then you can vote.
Yeah.
Okay, can you own a gun like in the future?
No, like I'm not. Never in my life anymore.
You can never own a gun. So that's a whole different thing. So if you live in a bad neighborhood and there's a lot of break-ins, you have no way to protect yourself. Okay, so you can't own a gun, but you will be able to vote. Is this like is it going to be hard for you to get a job? You think is this something like you have friends who like they come out with a felony and then like people don't want to hire because they see that?
It depends on the type of job.
Yeah.
Like let's say like if I wanted to be a pharmacy tech.
Yeah, you're done.
Then I think that would be a problem because I'm a felon handling someone else's drugs.
Right.
So,
even though it wasn't a drug charge, like so. But if you're doing a labor job, you're doing some sort of you're doing construction, or you're doing like if you have like a skill, you're doing a trade or something like that, it'd probably be better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. All right. Well, I'm gonna stop recording, but I appreciate the conversation.